am not sure entirely, but I think that I have to let somebody in here. I think that right outside the door is waiting for Carol Morhart, and I think Tony's even working the door now. So we're getting all this set up, and let's do, so as Carol gets all hooked up here, hi, Carol.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing awesome. How are you doing? This is
Good.
Carol Morhart.
Hello.
Carol Morhart of Handyman Connection. So what we're often talking to sellers about is making the most of your house before resale. And I have to say that talking to a lot of buyers out there, they're really sensitive to anything that might be broken. Can you tell us a little bit about Handyman Connection? Like you connect people to the people that can do everything they need, no matter how odd, how big, or how small the job. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're your one call to all the connection, like to all the trades that you might need in your home. So really our focus is at small to medium home repairs. So those little things that are broken are really quite easily fixed. And that's really what we tackle. So yeah, we'll just come out and take a look at it with you and make sure that we can kind of fix it up for you.
So when we're talking about the most common calls that you get, can you give us an idea of the type of work that somebody might see needing to be done in their house, but thinking like, oh, I can't call anybody for that?
Yeah, I mean that list is endless. Really, it just depends on your house, but it could be drywall repairs. You know, if I think about my house, I have a trim on the side of the door that was scratched by a dog. You know, to me, we walk by it every day, but to a new home buyer, that might be something that they're like, "Oh, that what happened here?" Right? So,
Yeah.
just a piece of trim or a piece of casing on the door that might need to be replaced. Um, yeah, as I say, like drywall repair, just your casing or baseboards that might be missing in a closet or by the front entry. Even just a door adjustment, those are very important as people are opening and closing the front door. It might just be a door adjustment that need to happen. I mean, as I say, the list is endless and it really depends on your home. But all those little things that we sort of live with every day as homeowners, they, you know, new buyers may look at that and think that it could be a bigger fix than it is.
Yeah, that's definitely what we see from our experience. We normally see people a little bit concerned because they're not familiar with the house. So they
Mhm.
don't know necessarily if it's something that's an easy fix or not, because they don't know how the problem's been progressing. They just get like this one view. And also, if you've ever seen how inspection reports are written, they're written in a way where you're holding the pen with one hand and you're using the other hand to cover your, never mind. But the idea is that they're going to ask people to refer to experts that could end up taking more time to get to you with, to get to certainty for you and your family when it comes to your sale. And so as many of those things that you can patch up, the first thing that we're normally talking about is anything that appears broken. So those things that you mentioned, like the front door is what the opening impression is to many properties. They open that front door. Did they have to wait for 7 minutes while their realtor like jingled keys and they were freezing outside? You know, when they opened the door, was there's like this big ka-chunk as they opened the door? Because after that, they're going to be tuned to things like you mentioned pet damage. If you can see a food and water dish from the front door, I guarantee you that you're going to check every single step, that you are going to be looking for those places where there may be damage in a listed property, because you know there's hundreds of buyers that have worked with us and we see exactly what they're focused on.
Mhm.
But there's also a lot of other systems that you might think are okay that really need to be checked out. Like it must be nice to have somebody knowledgeable and say like that thing's kind of always dripped.
Is that a good thing? Yeah. So I mean, one of the great things about us, Taylor, is we always come out and just take a peek at it with no cost and no obligation. So I mean, if there's any concern by by a seller, and they just want to have it checked out, I mean, we'll send. So at Handyman Connection, we have about 30 independent contractors that work with us and work really quite closely to us. So what we'll do is just send them out to walk through those worries with you and make sure that we can address any concerns that you do have as a seller. And you don't have to fix everything, but maybe the drip, 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 that's an easy fix.
Yeah, I think that that's definitely one to fix. I think that there's few things that people are worried about more than water, but sometimes it's just a little minor thing that makes it look major. Like if you've ever seen a leaking humidifier on the side of a furnace, it doesn't look, it looks like it streaks all over the place. There's calcium everywhere. You know, if it's on the side of a furnace, sometimes there can be a little bit of rust. Now is the furnace having trouble? It just leads to these questions that you don't want buyers to have while they're standing in your house. And the other things that we're talking about is the cupboard. You know, I just had somebody come by my place because the drawer, the pot drawer, my wife, she doesn't, I think that maybe she thinks that you can put anything that fits in the drawer will hold in the drawer. I think that she thinks that you could put lead bricks in there, and if they
There's,
could fit in there, they should hold.
there's space. Let's fill it.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know about those things. So honestly, I can't really tell her no. But all of a sudden it starts to sag on the one side. And if buyers are getting this information, they're a little bit concerned. Now let's talk on the other side. When you were starting to look at those larger projects, because you were saying that you're really focused on small to medium projects, what does it start to look like when you're saying, okay, this might be out of scope for us?
Yeah, I mean, anything within the home we really can't tackle. I think if you're getting into full room remodels, like a full basement development or a kitchen development, I mean, we tend to focus more on the things that are quick upgrades, like, you know, if we want to talk about changing out your knobs on your door handles, or sorry, your cupboard doors, your cabinets, just for an
Oh, that's
upgrade.
a good recommend. You know
Yeah.
what? If you're rocking like the oak and gold look,
hmm Yeah,
yeah,
why
I
change your
have to say,
cabinets if you don't have to? So just some clean, modern door pulls would be great. So just little things like that. So we
light
try to,
fixtures are a big one.
yeah, light fixtures. Yeah,
Right? Or if you have interior doors that are coming apart, or maybe somebody like didn't quite get the door handle turned before they gave it a push. I've seen that
yeah.
a
I
few
mean,
times.
easy fixes, right? And these are, as you say, they can grow and sort of cause some anxiety that there's a lot more behind what's actually going on. But it's absolutely, this is what we do daily for the last 24 years. It's just these little quick fixes.
That's incredible. Most businesses, like I just learned recently that the reason that a lot of businesses put establishment dates is because it's super rare when they exceed 10 years.
hmm
Like 2 years
Yeah,
is like when you think about 2 years for an entrepreneurship, you have to envision those National Geographic videos where the turtles are trying to make it to the water and the birds are like we're one of the entry points of entrepreneurship because real estate is one of those easy accesses for entry. And it feels terrible here when you see so many people that kind of start off. So having a business around for 24 years means that you guys have actually survived three very different economic cycles.
mm, yeah.
And
And
that's something that probably says that you have a lot of repeat and referral customers.
yeah, I mean, more than half of our business every year is just from repeat clients alone. And that's probably for the last 12 years. And yeah, it's just what we're trying to do is we really want to try to create that customer service experience with homeowners, because there's not just one small job in your home. And it's really hard to find the contractors who will focus on the small jobs. It's just not worth their time. So for us to come out and just fix that up, it's just, you know, there's always another little job that pops up as homeowners. And that's really where we focus on. And I think one of the biggest complaints in this industry is that guys don't show up, or don't call back. And we just don't let that happen. And that's kind of why we've been in business for 24 years, as we're always making sure we're on time, showing up, deliver our bids, finish the job. And you don't have to chase it. It's worry free.
That's fantastic. And I think that that's like a key element to making these relationships work because sometimes the people that are so good on the tools, they need a little bit of help making sure that the trains run on time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that that's a good relationship. Can you talk a little bit more about who's coming to my house when we call? Like, what does your team look like?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have about 29 guys that work with us, and they all have varying experience levels, but everybody has over 20 years experience in their trade. And we're trying to bring on well, we have licensed plumbers, we have master electricians, we have carpenters, painters, drywall guys. Like we have the full gamut of the trades for the residential. And really, like I personally recruit every single guy that comes through there. And the reason I do that is I need to know that I can send him into your home, Taylor, and I'm comfortable sending him into your home. Or if I'm going to send him to mom and dad's place, that I'm comfortable sending him there. So I personally recruit every single craftsman. We have very, the vetting process is pretty long and intensive, but we want to make sure that one, they have the skills, and then two, they have the communication ability to deal with homeowners, which is very important. So, I mean, one of the things that's very challenging with renovations is we tend to talk about a lot of things as we're working through the project. And so some of that just kind of goes over our, like us as the homeowners, it goes over our head because we don't understand all the technical part. So we really want to make sure that we have guys that can communicate the beginning, middle, and end of the project. So it's even, understandable. But these are smaller jobs, but it's still very important that that communication is there. So there's no surprises in the end.
I totally agree. And that's a beautiful thing because it sounds like you're dealing with a really established tradespeople that are looking for the lifestyle that's suited by being a handyman. They
Mhm.
can come in, they can do jobs because that's really hard on your body. So I can understand how you would find great fits with people that have amazing skills they've accumulated over a long period of time, and they're looking for a change of pace,
Yeah.
right? That's something that's probably interesting about the type of work you do.
Do years ago, we used to try to recruit semi-retired craftsmen, but homeowners just keep them too busy. So there's a there's no retired craftsmen that, they have a lot of years of experience, but they just, we're able to keep them busy throughout the year, which is great.
Yeah, and they must, everybody likes a certain type of work, and I see a lot of handyman jobs are the type that kind of take you to think, like, what's the right solution here? Does it need to be
Mhm.
traded out or worked out? And I know a lot of the times when you're talking to these types of tradespeople, they talk about the difference between, just changing parts or actually being able to change outcomes in different ways.
Mhm.
It's neat to see people problem solve that way. Um,
Which is important in renovations because nothing is straight, fresh or anything, right? So yeah, they got to work around a lot of problem solving, a lot of solutions.
And that's something that we often talk about actually when clients are looking for houses or these renovations over other renovations. Because sometimes where you see houses actually that trade hands more, everybody wants to put their stamp on them.
Yeah.
So we see that those houses that sell more often actually tend to have more layered renovations. And when we're talking to people about the houses that they want to change, we're actually looking for those sweet old houses that have had like 30 years with the same owner. I love that demographic. They
Mhm.
fixed the windows, the roof is good, there's a new furnace, but the same pink plush carpet and oak interior that they loved when they bought the place.
Yeah.
Which means that you can change that out, and that's a really good benefit. And if somebody's looking around and maybe they think that something creaks and something leaks, I really think that they should call you and talk to you about what it could look like, because you're really overcoming a lot of barriers where you're talking to people about, you can come by, have a look, talk to them about what they expect as an outcome, see if it's a good fit, give them a quote on it. And that way they can make an informed decision, because when you're looking at something broken, like, how do you know what it costs to make it?
Right. Yeah. No, it's really good. And I mean, we often will say to homeowners, if you're looking at the selling process, make sure you talk to your realtor first to understand what you need to do before, you make all these changes. Because as you say,
Oh,
someone might walk in and like that pink carpet, but
yeah. And on the other side of that, there's some changes you shouldn't make. I've seen a few people that are like, oh, we're going to renovate our house, so it's like none other. And the first thing I think is there a reason there's been no demand for that house up until now? All right. Well, it looks like we are seeing some people drop in. It's Blair coming in. I think that you're just a touch early, but we always love to see you. Blair Rayfield is going to talk to us about flooring, and we also want to let Carol go on with her evening. Thank you so much for joining us and talking to us a little bit about what's going on when it comes to handyman services. So please contact the Handyman Connection. It's great to talk to Carol about what you could do with your property, or maybe just like what needs to change. There could be something that has been bothering you for a long time, and it could be a little smaller than you think.
thanks so much, guys.